My favorite part, I can't really pick like a specific part, but I just enjoyed like being around like other people and meeting a lot of people, and like we like struggle through everything together, and I like that.
My favorite part of the trek was meeting new people and like having the experience of the pioneers.
It's going to be weird of me to say this, but I liked pulling. I liked the physical punishment that came along with Trek. And that's the part I'm going to look back on and say I really enjoyed.
My favorite part of the trek was after finished hiking, like after we were done hiking all day, was just to just come home and come to the campsite. Once you're done setting up, there was just a really great atmosphere, you know? Like everyone was just really chill and everyone's tired together, so it's not just you. And yeah, it was just like, it was fun. Everyone was in a good mood. You know, no one was whiny or complaining. Like we're all kind of in pain, but it's okay because we're all together, you know? So that was just kind of fun.
My favorite part of the trek would be so much. I think bonding with my family because we got really close these past few days and it was really cool.
My favorite part of the trek was probably just pulling the carriage because I just like to I don't know, pull it and the knowledge that like other people get to rest.
Probably doing all the hiking is my favorite part. Going around, pulling the handcart, finding ways to help, just getting the experience.
The hardest part of the trek was probably just not having a bad mood about the rain. Like, it rained, everything was wet, but you couldn't have a bad mood or it would ruin the entire experience.
Well, I'd have to say all those hills would be hard. One of the other girls in my group and I would always get stuck pulling when it was up the hills. So it was just our luck.
Yeah.
The hardest, I think some of those hills were pretty hard, even I must say.
The physical punishment of Trek.
Probably just pushing and pulling the cart because we all have to work together as a team, and if someone's not doing their part, then that just makes it harder for everyone. So
actually not helping the girls carry the wagon up that giant hill.
Why was that hard?
Because you feel bad and you really wanted to help them.
All of these hardships just because somebody didn't like them, just because somebody decided that we were too different and that we weren't good enough for them, or we were too different, we were too odd. And it hurts. It hurts a lot to know that people would hate us that much or hate people that much to kick us out of states and have us walk thousands and thousands of miles up hills and across plains and have people die because we just were too not the same.
I think that they had it rough, man. They didn't get to shower, they didn't get to have the luxuries of like we still get a hot stove. We can, we have a nice tent to stay in, and they just slept under the stars and under like this tent raft kind of thing, I don't know, like a tarp, and I don't know. We have it good, I think.
I'm glad that my ancestors did this for me, or else I wouldn't be here. And I'm happy to be here.
Awesome.
I have a better understanding of what my pioneer family went through back when they were hiking across the plains. I understand how hard it was a little bit. I don't understand fully, but I can tell kind of what they went through, pulling the handcarts, kind of getting a feel for how it felt.
I admire them. I feel like they have amazing courage. Like they had. I really don't think I would be able to do that. I don't see myself as strong enough to endure as much as they did. I feel they were just on a completely different level of what we have to face today, and it's amazing.
I admire them, and I'm very impressed by them.
Grant, why do you think they were allowed to suffer like they were?
I don't know. I don't know if I know why. I just know that God thought it was prudent for them to suffer. So whatever God says, I'm down with.
How
them.
awesome they are. Basically, all they sacrificed and all the faith that it really took for them to give up so much to travel across the Great Plains and leave everything behind, try and start over, and still face persecutions and stuff, and lose family members along.
Why do you think the handcart companies who were clearly doing the Lord's work were allowed to suffer so much?
So that they would have strong faith and set a firmer foundation for us now.
We always talk about the sacrifices they made, and I think like you kind of register in your brain, like you kind of get a taste of it, like you kind of understand. But I think coming, it really shows you, I think, the emotional things you had to go through. You get the hard work. I mean, anyone can imagine hard work if you've ever worked hard at something. But I think just the emotion part of it, like, oh, you're losing your child, or you're losing a loved one. I think that part of it was more evident, I guess, on Trek. Like, we lost one of our kids went home because he was sick. I remember my mom was like, she was like crying. She's like, he's gonna go home. I'm like, you know what? He's just going home. He's okay. Like, but she was like crying, and it was just really hard for her. And just like when they did the mob thing, that was just kind of. I mean, I was like laughing for part of it because it was kind of hard. But you know, like by the end of it, everyone's kind of quiet. Like, ooh, that was kind of intense right there, you know. And like I kind of knew it was fake, but if it actually had been real, I would have been bawling my eyes out. Like, I don't know, the emotional part of it was really more evident of what they had to suffer and what they went through.
I feel glad that they did all that for me, because I get to still be part of this church, and without them giving up all their stuff, I wouldn't be here today.
Before I knew what they went through, but now I've kind of experienced a little bit of what they went through, and it's just, it's a lot deeper, and it's just more meaningful, and I really understand it, and it's really cool. And it's like sometimes I'll actually be pushing, I'll be thinking, oh, I could never do this, so much. I'm so glad tomorrow's the last day and I only have to go like a mile, and I'll think, but my ancestors did this every day, and they did it so much more, and they were in worse conditions, and it's just like, all right,
I feel that they were really brave. Like, they had to make this decision and then do it. Like, I'm always a little bit of a procrastinator, and making big decisions is hard. Like, I can't imagine what they had to go through when they decided to go. They had to pack up all their stuff, just leave their house and go.
I have some ancestors that were pioneers, and because my mom came from Utah, so they really never left. But it was painful to look up all my ancestors and see that many of them had died on the trail, and we don't know where they are. They're somewhere on the side of a road, and that all these poor people had to go through that, never knowing if they'd ever really reach the other side.